Welcome to UGA Sports Rewind. I'm Patrick Garvin. This is Dave McMahon, and we are writers, researchers, and historians for UGAsports.com of the Rivals Network. Of course, our guest is Russ Tanner. Russ played for Georgia early to mid 2000s, primarily at center, but did play a little offensive guard. We're here at Classic City Eats in Watkinsville, and specifically back here in their golf simulator room, which is extraordinary to say the least. But enough about golf. We're not here to discuss golf, right, Dave?
We have Russ Tanner here. We're not talking golf. We're going to talk football. I mean, we have Russ Tanner here. You'd be really, really mad if we didn't talk football. But on this show, what we're going to do is that we have a game that Russ chooses and chose, and we're going to learn about the good parts, the bad parts, what was going through a player's mind during that game, and we're going to watch the game, and Russ is going to talk all about it.
There you go. So you're ours for the next 5 hours. Here we go.
But Russ, what are you up? First of all, before we get into what are you up to nowadays? Family, job, all that good stuff.
Man. So live here in Watkinsville, about 2 miles away. Actually, I'm in the mortgage business with Bank of England, BOE. In England, Arkansas, we don't have any tea and crumpets over there. I've been doing that about 16 years. I think I said that twice. So married to my wife Shelley, and we have 4 beautiful children: Carly, Rhett, Maddox, and a little surprise attack major who is now 2 years old.
And Rhett's running. He's our camera guy.
Running the camera for us tonight.
So good job, Rhett. I want to talk quickly before we get to this game about the 2001 game. That was two years earlier, the last time Georgia played in Knoxville. And 2001 is the game that a lot of Bulldogs remember, mostly because of the hobnail boot play at the end with Ron Haynes.
Yeah.
But you were being redshirted at that time. Were you even at that game? And where were you for that part?
Yeah. So, fun fact for you: I was a third string center that year, behind Kurt McGill and Ian Knight. And the fun fact of that is the third string center gets to travel because you're the emergency guy. You only get so many guys who can actually snap. So I actually got to travel to all the away games, dress for all the home games. Always had my knee braces on, which I thought was weird because I didn't play all year long. I was just stiff by the end of the game. So was able to go to Neyland to be on the sideline and front and center for the pass 44 Haynes, the hobnail boot play.
There you go. That's pretty incredible.
Well, before then. Coming out of Johnson County High School that same year before you got redshirted, obviously, I think one question that should be asked, that was Coach Rick's first year. You're part of his first signing class.
Yep.
Him coming to Georgia had a lot to do with you coming, correct?
Yeah, it did, man, because, I'm from Wrightsville, so everybody kind of assumes that it's I've heard it said, the Bethlehem of Georgia football. There's a pretty good guy that came out of there, our man Herschel. Was from Wrightsville, but growing up, I wasn't necessarily a UGA fan. I wasn't an anti-UGA guy, but I was just a college football fan, like a lot of you guys and a lot of our folks who are probably watching this. I watched Jefferson Pilot Sports and just whatever. We got 2 channels on in Wrightsville, so I was just a college football fan. So when I started to be recruited through high school and started getting phone calls from SEC, ACC, all these big programs, it was amazing for old country boy from Wrightsville to even have these opportunities. So I was taking it all in, man. I was excited about all the places I was visiting, from Notre Dame to Alabama to Georgia to Florida. That year, my senior year in high school, Coach Rick came in because Coach Donnan got fired. Sorry, Coach, I know you're watching, but that staff got released. And after Coach Donnan, their team. Their staff, Coach Don along with Phil Jones, my recruiter, had been recruiting me, and they, were out the door in December. We signed, it was in February then. So, Coach Rick comes in, first time head coaching guy, and he's having to hit the ground running because he's got about a month and a half to get people not just signed, but got to build relationships, win them over, sell a vision, get everybody to buy in and come. So, I didn't know at the time, but I was destined to go to the University of Georgia. I had red and black in my blood, but I didn't know it. So, when Coach Rick came in, I remember when I called him and committed, I told Coach Calloway, he said, whoa, you got to call Coach Rick. So I told Coach Rick, it was very exciting, and Coach Rick told me years later, he's like, man, He's like, I'm not saying you were the biggest recruit in our class because we got, DJ Shockley, Fred Gibson, all these studs. He said, but I thought, if I can't get an offensive lineman from Wrightsville, Georgia to commit, I'm in the wrong place. So he's like, man, your commit was a big moral boost for me. So I'm sure he told all the girls that, but that's one of the things I remember about Coach Rick, and I'm really, really glad I made that decision. So, yeah.
There you go. I mean, it's a pretty impressive class and pretty impressive teams you had throughout there. I mean, that offensive line, that class, or not class, but the offensive line you played with was pretty impressive.
Yep.
Well, let's rewind our calendar back to October 11th, 2003.
I remember this game because we came into the year, we won the SEC in 2002, but I wasn't a big part of that team as far as meaningful snaps, and most of our offensive line wasn't. So Coach Rick had talked a lot when he got there about knocking the glass ceiling off the program. And we did it with the Hobnail boot game a couple of years before. We won the SEC in 2002. But we pretty much continuously had this idea about taking the program to a new level. So every time you play these games like this, we opened the season with Clemson. They weren't Clemson today. They're still a big-time opponent. We traveled to Neyland Stadium and played Tennessee. And, for me growing up, the biggest CBS game every year in the mid-'90s was Tennessee-Florida. So this was as big of a stage as you're ever going to see. Neyland Stadium, man, like this type of game is why you go to the University of Georgia to play football. You're ranked number 10, they're ranked number 14. I think you guys told me earlier it was like a 2.5-point line. It's a coin flip game. There's bad blood. Casey Clausen talked trash year before. Pollock was ticked about that. And we go in with a little bit of a chip on our shoulder. So, yeah, let's see what we got.
All right.
And just for all the people watching it at home that are young, Tennessee used to be a good team. I mean, nowadays Tennessee's struggled for years and years and years.
Russ, let me ask you real quick. Do you remember? Was it truly a raucous crowd, or some crowds they tend to be maybe a little overrated, like you hear that? But I mean, what do you remember from the 2-3 times you were there?
Yeah. So Tennessee to me was not the hardest stadium to play in. If you could compare it to like Auburn and South Carolina are hard, man. They're just loud the whole time. But when Neyland gets loud, when their fans are up and something good happens for them, that place literally rocks. It's as loud as you're ever going to be. So, yeah. All right. Roll the tape, Patrick.
Here we go.
We're tied for the SEC East standings that year, so this is kind of the game's going to put whoever won this in the driver's seat down the home stretch for the SEC. And you got all these cats here, man. We couldn't grow a goatee if we wanted to, lining up there. So all of us were first-year starters right here. And then you come up against these guys, J.P. Mapu, Paris Harrelson. Mondre Dickerson was a beast of a man. So when we come up, I mean, they're a very good team that knew what they were doing, and they came out ready to rock and roll just like we did. So you see right there, really early on in the first quarter, you're 8 minutes in, and our defense line is just eating them up. Kendrick Golson right there. If you watch this game, go back and watch the whole thing, Pollock was dominant in the game. Kendrick Golson had a great game. Not Jumpy. That's his uncle. Robert Gathers was playing. So, you see right there, that's big Gerald Anderson coming in the backfield, and penetration wins on the defensive line. So he's in the backfield, strip the ball, D. White jumping in, Sean Jones. And, we get the ball, get on the field, and our man Billy Bennett pokes it through to put us up early. So it's 3-0 there.
28 field goals. That's something crazy. He kicked a lot of field goals.
Bennett was pretty automatic for most of the time.
Yep. So, we're coming up here. We're, getting the ball, getting close to midfield, 2nd and 4 right here. And as we watch this game, you'll kind of see we tried to run the ball some. We didn't have a lot of luck. So a lot of play action for us. Greeny was finding guys. Jeremy Thomas. Oh, good Lord. Somebody just, my man.
There you go. And that's what fullbacks do. You don't see fullbacks these days.
That's what you're doing,
That's
man.
what fullbacks do.
So, I'm going to run that back for just a second.
Yeah, he was a transfer, right, out of Air Force?
Yeah, so he was. That's right. So you're going to see this. Greeny gets a little – Jeremy's going to kind of squeak right out here into the flats. Yep. And then you're going to watch the receiver come absolutely crack somebody's head right there. Here comes J-Man. I mean, that's just a beast of a man right there. He's about 5'2", 340 pounds, just going down the field, demolishing people. That was not his actual size.
I think we got a replay. That might have been Ben Watson.
Ben Watson made some big blocks. Ben Watson's in the news.
Look at him. So,
Jeremy's having
man,
fun.
I mean, the heart rate's pumping, man. I mean, literally, this is why you're there. And here it comes. Yep. Oh, yeah, I'm rewinding it for you, but they're going to do it again right here.
Yep.
So this play right here is illegal in 2021. But, our man Ben Watson coming in with the peel back block right there.
3rd and 7.
3rd and 7. We're in quads to the left, 4 receivers to the top side. We got tight end to the bottom. So no backs. So this is what we call an empty set. And Green just does a little swing pass right there. So Tyson Browning Tyson got the start of that game. If you guys remember, Tony Milton was the number one, but he was banged up in that game and didn't play. So Tyson had a really big game for us. So again, David Green was great just finding what was there, man. He reads the defenses, sees you got one-on-one with Michael Johnson running the corner, puts it up. You got a guy at the receiver who's 6'2", 220 pounds, big body, goes and gets it.
I'll add that was his first touchdown since the Auburn game the year before, that miraculous fourth and touchdown that he caught to essentially win.
He seems to make big plays, Michael Johnson.
Yep. So man. So that's awesome, man. We're up there, starting second quarter, and we're going up, 10-0 right there. So we're feeling pretty good about where we're at.
And look at that guy.
Hey, look at him. That's a stud right there.
Handsome.
So yeah.
So you're pointing here,
yeah.
Russ. What is it? Because you see centers do that. Exactly what's going on there?
Yeah, so when we're doing that, basically you're identifying the protection that you're going to go. So as your 5 offensive linemen, for the most part, this is overgeneralization, but for the most part, our responsibilities are the 4 downs and the mic. I mean, the 4 defense linemen and the mic linebacker. So depending on who the mic is, that sets up your entire protection. So you got a back, you got a tight end, you got different guys that are responsible for different blocking assignments. So if I call, hey, number 40 is the mic, number 40 is the mic, that tells the 4 linemen that if that guy blitzes, no matter where he comes from, we got to pass that off and get to him. It tells your running back, hey, they got number 40. We now have the next guy over the outside linebacker. And it sets all your stuff there. And also lets your quarterback know who you're picking up. So if Greeny was the quarterback a lot of times right there, and I don't think he audible right here, but when you run it back, when you see me point, like we're saying the linebackers on that side, we're calling that guy the mic. So if that guy blitzes over there, that means that me and whoever our split side guards are, it looks like Bartley Miller and Big Dan, Bartley and Max are on that side. So we're responsible for those 3 guys: nose tackle, defensive end, mic, linebacker, no matter where they come.
So the center is responsible for that for every single play, or is other?
The center's the only one that's calling that. So the center's going to have the responsibility to call that and determine where it's at. So, I like to tell everybody the center's the smartest guy on the field because you set it up. Now, there is a trump card there, and that's your quarterback. So, and he can basically, the quarterback knows, like, we saw it a minute ago, what we call an empty formation with nobody in the backfield. So if he sees a linebacker that's a threat, he may not be the mic linebacker. It could be a corner walked up into the line. It could be a safety walked up, outside linebacker. If he wants us to get that guy, he can change who we're identifying as the mic, the middle linebacker. And whoever we call the mic, he knows we're going to get that guy. So we got the 4 down lineman and the mic, assuming it's a 4-man front. So depending on the play call, the protection, we had 7 or 8 different basic protections that we ran, but they were all centered off the mic linebacker. And that wasn't just passes, it was runs as well. So everybody knows their assignments. We're going to show the replay of that one again.
Yep.
So so that's it right there. So Greeny knows we're going that way. Pick it up over there, and you see Michael Cooper right there pick it up. So he knows who his guy is because we've identified the mic in the middle. So he knows, hey, I don't have to worry about the other guy. He's not mine. The next man off the corner is my guy. Michael Cooper's our tailback right there. Yep. So 10-0, second quarter.
A lot of sad Tennessee faces.
There's no better surrender cobras than Tennessee surrender cobras, by the way. We'll see some of theirs.
And this guy's always happy.
Hey, there's my roommate.
There you go.
I mean, he was, 7-time All-American by this point in his career?
At least.
There was talk, though, he'd entered this game through 5 games with only a half a sack.
A lot of pressures, though.
And
that hurts, man.
So he just took it away.
Yeah, so that hurts right there because you were in great position. Looks like Tim Jennings over there. I think it's Timmy.
Mark Jones is the guy who caught the ball for Tennessee.
I can't tell who that was for us over there. And your safety was there as well, so you got your corner in position, safety over the top, makes a play on the ball, but man, the Tennessee guy just made a play. He just went up and got it right there and just snatched it from us.
And were you in like a offensive line meeting, like a little huddle type thing?
Yeah, I didn't see this.
So all of a sudden you heard the crowd reacting. Yeah. You all look at once.
Yeah, because we're all on the sideline with Coach Calloway, going through assignments, going through all the stuff we're doing there, and you don't even see what's happening. So so Billy kicks that one, puts us up 13-7.
Yeah.
About 3 minutes to go. So at this point of the game, you're starting to look around and think, all right, this is a battle, man. These are 2 SEC heavyweights coming down to it. So they got the ball. They're feeling pretty good about themselves right here, thinking, hey, if we can go get points in a halftime, if you win the half, you're typically going to get a terrible flag, by the way.
Yeah,
that wasn't targeted in 2003.
Sean Jones comes come through in a little bit, as you most of you all remember.
So Clausen, to his credit, man, he steps up right here on this drive, and I mean, he'd been getting rattled around pretty good by Pollock and the crew up front, and he starts moving the ball down the field. So, you're down here now, what's that, 46, 45, 44 seconds, and they're down, they're in the red zone, they're at the 10-yard line.
You're hoping just to have them settle just for 3.
You'll give up 3 right here all day long, but we'll watch it. I'm not sure which down this was, but it gets down to 3rd down. I think they were out of timeouts, so they made the decision to go for the touchdown right here at the end of the half, and if we stuff them, the half is over. Here they are, going right on that left side over there, right at Pollock and the crew. Derek White with a stick.
Yeah, there's right there at the bottom. Golston,
Sean Jones, man, you got just player after player after player.
Hey, that 03 defense was remarkable.
They were unbelievable.
So much talent.
Odell Thurman. I mean,
Yep. So
here we go.
So under 10 seconds left. They're going for it.
So they have to score here, right? I mean, if
no time, I'm pretty sure. I mean, Dave McStats can go back and recheck us, but I'm pretty sure they were out of timeouts.
Yeah.
I think they called all their timeouts. They're on the 1 yard line. Is what it looks like right here.
Yeah.
So
they're going for it.
The thing to watch is like you see those defense linemen, man. Everybody's in a heavy stance. Everybody's down, way down on their, got all the weight on their hands. They're getting low, trying to submarine. Offensive linemen are heavy in their stance, 4-point stances. You know what's coming right here, man. Like you're trying to smash somebody, and the play that gets made right here that people miss a lot of times is Sean Jones does scoop and score. Unbelievable play, great. But Pollock is if you look down the line down here, he's second from the bottom on the line of scrimmage, and they were not going to score on this play either way. So, you'll see when we roll the tape
Pollock
right here.
With a big play.
So they're not going to score right here, or they wouldn't have scored anyway. But the penetration made a mess up in the backfield. So here you go. Pollock's right down there on the bottom left. Boom.
There you go.
He had him right there. He was 3 yards deep. So. You've never heard 100,000 hillbillies wearing orange get as quiet as they were right there, man. And the faithful were roaring for us.
Instead of 14-13 Tennessee at half, it's a totally different game, 20-7. I mean, unbelievable.
That's a huge swing.
Yep. And we were the hot team, man. I mean, we were both 4-1, but we won the SEC the year before, and we were trying to prove to ourselves and Tennessee, everybody else, that we could do it again. So, here you see Pollock getting low, making penetration, but Clausen never got the ball. The QB center exchange was off. It was on his thigh pad coming up right there. So he never got it back. I think he actually might have hit the fullback. But it's pressure, man. It's hard to execute under pressure.
Now, no Tennessee players, except for 1 or 2, were after him, but there was a big old convoy wearing white, red, and black, and
not 92
silver.
Trailing, but he's part of it.
Oh, that's Gerald Anderson. He ain't gonna make it. That's the Fat Boy Shuffle. Look, he's going to the left already. So with the Fat Boy Shuffle, you gotta make like you're running. You gotta make like you're running to look like you're giving effort, but you want to get to about the 30 so you can get up to the sideline when they score.
All right,
you gotta reduce your yards.
Yep, there's the greatest mascot. He's happy. He's a lot happier than Smokey right now.
So, young Coach Rick. all the hair still there.
Yep.
So here we are back to the front.
There's that center guy again.
You're going to see us point again right here. And watching the old broadcast, you got Coach Curry talking about it, so it was pretty cool right here. So we're in slide protection. Greeny swings out to Reggie Brown up top. And basically you're just saying he's faster than your guy covering him right there.
And Reggie Brown is faster than almost every guy out there.
So same thing right here. We're calling that. We're going to be slide protection this way.
You're looking at the Mike linebacker.
Yeah, and pausing it right here. So like this right here, we call it slide protection. We would call this Seattle, meaning we slide to the weak side. So that means your top 2 guys, which are Max Jean at the right tackle, top of the screen, and Bartlett beside him, they're first 2 on their side of there. So they're going to have a defensive end on the top side and a linebacker. So then me at center, Josh Brock, Daniel Emmett down here at the bottom left, we're sliding to the left. So we're not picking up the mic in this situation. We're picking up the wheel, just the way that Seattle operates for you. But we've now told Greeny who the mic is. He knows who we're not going to block. So if that guy comes, he's throwing hot off of the mic. You can't see him in this shot, but that's who he's going to be coming off of right there. So I'm calling the mics over there to the right side. So Greeny knows nobody from his weak side is going to ear hold him. So he's safe back there. So he's looking front side, and he's looking for what that backer does. If the backer comes, he puts it right behind him. If he stays back, he swings it to Reggie. So there we go. Silent count. See it come up. Slide protection. Yep. Bartley picks his guy up, crosses his face.
Good job by Bartley.
It goes right back right there.
Look at this off balance.
Unbelievable throw.
Geez.
So backing this one up, to watch it, just second on our side. So, same thing right here. See if I can pause at just the right time. So, again, you look at where we're at right here. We've got our 5 linemen. We're almost a max protect deal because we got 2 backs staying in. They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys they're bringing right here. You cannot block 7 guys. I don't care what you're doing. It's almost impossible to pick up that many guys, even if you got 7 on 7, because they're running twists and stunts. So you see the defensive linemen all slanting down to their right, our left, and the linebackers are looping up that top side from them right there. So again, this is a quarterback. This is why David Green was so good. He understands where protection is, where pressure is, and he knows where his outlet's going to be. So you'll see when pressure comes to his right side, he's rolling. He knows these guys receiver down here in one-on-one situation because how many guys they're blitzing. He just give your guy a shot, man. He knows protection's got him top side. Make a little play, put the ball up one-on-one, let your guy go get the ball, and that's what he does right here. Michael Cooper's coming in to that right side. Boom. Nice cut back by the fullback.
From Screven County.
Right there. So that was a big drive right there. If you go back and watch the film, because we just went down the field on, man. We just marched. And, when we decided to run the ball, we hadn't ran the ball very good up to this point of the game. I mean, I think up through half through the third quarter, I had 60 or 70 yards. So by the end of the game, we ran the ball 45 times. So, they're starting to feel it now, man. Pollock hits quarterback, flutters up in the air. Odell Thurman sitting right in the right place, right time, takes it back down inside the 10-yard line.
I mean, this is that momentum swing from the end of the first half.
Look at
the hands, man. Watch the hands. You want to know why he's good? People are like, oh, Pollock's an overachiever, man. Which that just means that he's not that athletic and works hard, but that's not the case. I mean, when you watch this play right here, watch his hands, what he does to this offensive lineman. Get off of me.
I'm not telling him he's unathletic. You might, but I'm not going to tell him that.
So that was the wrap on him coming out. Here's Greeny. He sees what they're giving us on the offense. He's checking right here. So you see him come up. He's audible into another play because of the numbers we have. And basically, it's a numbers game. So when you back that up right there, Greeny comes up here, and I don't know what play we would have had called before that. So when he starts making his play calls, we're going to end up running. Essentially, it's just power left, sweep left, Tyson coming around this side. So when you look at the guys for Tennessee, count to this side of the center over here. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 down linemen, a Mike linebacker, and one other guy. Well, guess what we got? We got 4 blocks there. We got a tight end, tackle, guard, and center. So you got a hat for a hat. And if you got a hat for a hat on offense, and you got a running back as talented as Tyson Browning is, hard to tackle in the open field, you give him an opportunity to find a spot to run, and he's typically going to make good things happen for you. So Greeny just sees that. If you look to the top side up there, we don't have numbers. They've got more people than we do up there. They've got 4 to our right side. We got 3 blockers counting the center. Come down here, they got 4. Guess what? We got 4. So Greeny's audibling. It's not that complicated, and people don't understand football is a numbers game all the time.
Because I'm looking at this, and I'm like, why would you run on 3rd and goal way back on the 8, 9-yard line? But you just explained it.
Yeah,
right?
because down here, all you got to do, Ben Watson's going to have this linebacker standing up down here to the very bottom of it. That's going to be Big Dan at tackle. He's going to come out here to this defensive end, the first guy with his hand down. Brock's going to have that, we call him a 3 technique, the defensive tackle on his outside shoulder. I'm going to be up there to that Mike linebacker. Then you got Reggie Brown at receiver down here. He's going to go get the safety. So at that point, you're saying, can their cornerback tackle your RB1? Can they tackle Tyson Browning? Probably not. So it takes a lot of guts to make this call as a quarterback.
Yeah.
To call a run play 3rd and 7 or 3rd and goal from the 7. But, as you watch it right here, I get second level. I get on the backside guys, cut their guys off. Bartley and Max up there. And, you give Tyson a shot, and he makes good things happen. So Greeny calls it right there. Joker, joker, joker. Everybody gets a hat on a hat. Second level, keep them pushing. Boom. Give Tyson a lane right up the middle.
A lot of good blocking on it for a lot of players.
Tyson got a lower back contusion right there. That's a fake injury, by the way, when you've been running a whole lot during the game. Nah, Tyson's the man. So there it is. Look at it. He sees the hole. Where's that? He sees the cut. Yeah. Right there. Great run by Tyson right there. Saw the opening, saw the lane, saw the end zone, went to pay dirt.
There's Reggie Brown blocking. There's Ben Watson blocking. There's all the big offensive linemen blocking.
You can say Russ Tanner. That was me.
I've heard of Russ Tanner.
So, at this point of the game, man, it's pretty much getting blown out. They know what's going on right now.
Yep.
So our defense is just absolutely teeing off. I mean, they've got to throw the ball, and we know it. And when they have to throw the ball with that defense we had, they were in trouble. So at this point, defense is teeing off, and offense is just deciding that they're going to come out and just try to absolutely smash people. Meaning, you're going to go out there and just run the ball until they don't want to play anymore.
Yep.
So
Tennessee threw 2 picks. Both of them were tipped.
Yep. And that has to do with your defense line getting pushed up front.
Uh-oh.
By the way, they threw D. White out of the game right here for that punch. Never mind. I was going to say he didn't get him, but yeah.
Look at
Is that Coach Fabra?
No.
Coach Fab up top.
Fab did not have him. I grabbed
Coach
Big
Rick
Dan.
told him, though.
I grabbed Big Dan. I was proud of that. He dragged me from the number to the hatch like a ski ride out there. He was going to fight. So, yeah. But Kedrick inside, man. Hands up tall, penetration. Good things happen when you get in the backfield of the defensive line. So, tips it up.
Yeah, there's Coach. And
Junior got it.
Yep.
Oh, that's not a great jump by the defensive line. Defensive line should never jump. So,
here's Coach Fab.
Fab was doing nothing. Fab did nothing.
Yeah.
Coach G had to step in.
It takes 2 guys to hold back Olsen, and then
Barley wasn't going to fight. He was just
Then
going to
Coach
the
Rick
huddle.
shuts it down, though.
No.
He's like, get on back, and he does.
yeah, you guys have pretty much the game right now.
And this is a run right here by Craig Lumpkin.
Huge play, man.
I tell you, y'all had a stable of backs. Lumpkin.
You had Tony Milton, who was out, Tyson
Yeah.
Browning. Then you had Michael Cooper, Craig Lumpkin,
You had Ronnie Powell,
Thomas Brown. I mean, so that's it. I mean, look, man, when you line up right here, there is no secret what's coming. Because if you look, we're in a 2 tight set, tight ends on both sides, with 1 receiver. So you start counting Tennessee numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys in the box with 2 more safeties coming down. So you essentially are blocking 9 to 10 guys right here. So you want to know why this play works? It's because they're tired. We have been mashing them the entire game to this point. They didn't want to play anymore. So when you got a guy like Craig Lumpkin who is super talented coming in feeling fresh, he hits it. There's not a hole because there's 14 guys on defense out there, but they can't bring him down, man. We're pushing them back. We moved the line of scrimmage. So the first time he makes contact, you'll see when the play snaps here in a second. The first time he makes contact is down the field just a little bit, and then they're not strong enough to pull him down, bottom line. So line of scrimmage got moved, boom. He gets up there, hits the guy, bounces outside, and then, man, athlete's going to athlete. Outruns B-Mac down there in the corner, Brian McClendon with a big block. At that receiver position, sprung him, ball game. So, it's 41-7, man, in Rocky Top. Like, it just doesn't get
all going home.
Just doesn't get any better than that. So, at this point, man, it's starting to flow a little bit. So, bring our man Shock in right here.
Yep.
And
Speaking of a good run.
speaking of good runs and athletes, I mean, Shock knew what the deal was. Can't nobody run it down. So, started right. Nothing was there. Cut it back left. And, again, you give your athletes a little bit of opportunity. Give them a little bit of space, man. Good things happen for you. So, David Green's like, man, I'm glad Coach didn't call that play. And Green didn't get to run many sweeps.
Towards the end of the 3rd quarter right here.
But we still got the front line guys in, man. How about that? You think Pollock wanted that one, by the way?
Yeah.
Let's back that up just a second. Like, watch how he finishes.
Yeah.
Like, there's just something extra on that. That's holding, by the way.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're
Told
gonna,
him to.
You're going to hold him and he still make the play. That's not good for the Tennessee people.
So we're up 41-7 in the 3rd quarter, and you got a 2-time All-American still in the game. You think Coach Rick wanted to win this game?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. So,
Pollock had 2 sacks in the game, both of Georgia's.
yep.
Mm.
So we're still in. This year, your starters on offense are still in right here in the 4th quarter. So again, we're not throwing the ball anymore, man. Like, the pass game's over with right here. So at this point, we're just going to keep running the ball, running the ball.
That's
I mean, if you go right up the middle for 8 yards, the defense wants to go home. They're looking at the clock, wondering why it's not ticking any faster than it is, because there's absolutely nothing they can do right here. We could have called. We didn't need a huddle, and we didn't need to run a no-huddle play. We could just line up and say, power left. Ronnie Powell, you mentioned him just a minute ago. Again, just right up the middle, man. This is as basic of a football. Coach Rick could have called it from the left side. 24, 25, whatever the play call we were running, and just running power. That's Joe T in there.
Yeah.
So, so here you are, man. You're back in. We got your backup guys in, and we're still just smashing right downhill.
Are you still in it? I mean,
No.
so
Nick
it's all
Jones is
back
in the
up?
center right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it. Shh, tell him, MJ. That's right. So Tennessee fans are quiet, man, but the red and black were raucous in their corner of the stadium. So, man, it was unbelievable game. Coach Dooley dropped it like it was hot in the locker room after the game. Everybody was dancing. Oh, yeah. Everybody was dancing. Man, there is no better time
That guy's
to
always
be
dancing.
a Georgia Bulldog than when you go on the road and you beat the crap out of somebody in their own stadium and you get to go back home letting them know that you are the big dog.
Georgia 41, Tennessee 14. Russ, when you look back on that game, what is there? I mean, I know you talked about the crowd and all this, but like you personally, is there a moment?
So, I was the oldest offensive lineman we had on the roster. And I was a redshirt sophomore, which is nuts, by the way. I mean, absolutely nuts. All those other guys, Dan, Brock, Bartley, Max, they were all a year younger. Dennis Rowland and I were in the same class, and ended up playing a ton by the end of his career. But in this game, I was the oldest offensive lineman playing. So, if you go back and watch the live broadcast, I love Bill Curry calling old games. They're just old. He's a football guy, man. I love offensive linemen. Yeah. I love linemen calling games. And he talked about a lot in the live broadcast how Coach Callaway had said all week leading up to it that the middle three, myself, Bartley, Miller, and Josh Brock, had to play better. And he wasn't lying. I mean, it was the truth. So for that to be kind of a narrative that we had dealt with all up to this point of the season, to come to a place like Tennessee where they had legitimate big-time players on the defensive line, and to be able to come in and start mashing them and making them not want to line up against us anymore was huge. So, I think it was an opportunity for me to show a little bit of leadership amongst my guys, the guys we were with. I was the oldest guy, I was the center. And it was a chance for us to step up as a unit and really prove that, we deserve to be on scholarship playing in Neyland Stadium for the University of Georgia. So it was a big day.
You mentioned mashing. You mentioned it while we were going through the video.
Yeah.
What's mashing? Like as offensive, what do you do when you're mashing?
Oh, mashing's the best, dude. Like, pass blocking is easy as far as like physically. Like you're not exerting yourself a ton, all that. Run blocking is hard. But when you start mashing people, that means when you hit them, they go backwards. They are tired and you're not. You're trying to put your hands on their chest. The only reason God made shoulder pads, by the way, is for offensive linemen to grab. So when you're mashing them, you're getting that chest plate and you're taking them backwards and just punishing them every play. Boom, 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 boom. And in the second half of that game, I think we ran the ball like 30 times in the second half. And they knew what was coming and they couldn't stop it because we were mashing them up front. We were moving the line of scrimmage from here to here every play. So our running back was getting 3 or 4 yards if he didn't break a single tackle and make anybody miss. So when you're doing that, 3 to 4 yards, no matter what happens, Dave could have got 3 yards in the second half of that game.
I don't know about that.
Maybe so. But thank you for that.
So we made them quit wanting to play football by the end of the game. They were ready for the clock to run out. And, that's what happens when you start mashing. And that is fun.
I love that. That's a great term. You mentioned a couple of your teammates. Do you keep in touch with those guys? How often do you see any of your former teammates?
Yeah, we still try to keep up. Everybody lives in different places. Everybody has kids and jobs and, pulled in a million different ways. But we still talk and text. We talked about Pollock in the video some. We're roommates, and he lives here in Oconee County now. So me and him and a couple of other guys work out about 3 or 4 days a week. He's got a gym at his place. So, man, we still get to see the guys and talk to them. And when football season happens and they're in town, we'll get to see even more of some of the brothers who come in. And, we're the Bulldog Brotherhood, man, so we get to hang out and see. And then, this year, I'm coaching 10U football again. And my running backs coach is actually Tyson Browning.
Oh, wow.
So that's fun. That's great. Yeah, so it's fun to see my boy Tyson out here where I was blocking from him, and now we're coaching boys about how to block, how to run, and do it together. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
You're part of something special. You were only one of 11 guys that lettered from 02 through 05, that 4-year period that went 44-9, which is wins-wise and percentage-wise got to be up there in Georgia history.
We talked about this a little bit before we started. For a long time, we were the winningest class in the history of the program. Now they play so many games. Guys just win more because they play more games. But, man, we were a part of the group that put UGA back on the national map.
Yep.
UGA went from a time from, we were great in the 80s. We had some great years through the 80s and 90s, but not consistently being title contenders. And, we were a group that came in, won the SEC twice, played for it 3 times, if we had lived in the era we are now, college football playoffs and BCS, we would have played for the national championship at least twice, and I think we would have won it.
I agree.
We were the best team in the country at least 2 of my 4 years there, and in my biased opinion. But we were part of a really special group that put UGA back on the big dog map of college football.
One of the things I want to, before we wrap this up, since we're here at Classic City Eats, which is a nice restaurant establishment, and they do a wonderful job. In today's world, today's players, a lot of things that people talk about is that whole NIL thing, image likeness. They did not have that when you were playing.
Nah.
What kind of companies would you have liked to endorse back then? What kind of companies is a big old offensive lineman, Russ Tanner? What kind of companies would you like?
Anywhere that sells steak, baby.
It's got to involve food.
Yeah, they can pay us in protein. I don't even need cash.
Pay by protein.
That's exactly right. I like that.
It's fun.
Well,
Yeah.
Russ, we appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thank you.
We appreciate it. We also appreciate Classic City Eats for hosting us.
We appreciate Rhett too, our camera guy.
That's right. Russ's son, Rhett, did a wonderful job. And that's a wrap for UGA Sports Rewind.
Go Dogs.
1